Good morning, people, and welcome to the 6 a.m. club. Hope you lot are blessed, man, and I hope you're starting your day right as always, man. Getting the kids ready for school or whether you're on your way to work. This is something you can listen to instead of some music. You can hear a good conversation, man. So today's conversation is it's a personal conversation, right? And I want to have a conversation about olders and youngers. It's random, I know, but olders and youngers. The reason why I want to have this conversation is because I often see people make mistakes with young people, and I often see young people make mistakes with older people. And I think that we all need to work together in order for us to survive, in order for us to be better, man. And even me, I make mistakes with young people sometimes, and I think it's a learning curve and it's something you have to learn. I've been a young person and I know what it feels like. Do you know what I'm saying? And as I'm getting older now, I'm not an old person yet, yeah? So don't be chatting no rubbish. You know what I mean? But I'm getting older now. So I think there's a lot of conversations to be had, you know? I think everyone has their time. Everybody has their time. I think when I was younger, I couldn't wait to have my own time. And in the midst of that and me having my own time, nothing else mattered. I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about disrespecting. I didn't care about what came before me. I always, when people try and speak to me about history, I often find that too much of something is it ends up being bad for you. People will say to me about history and say, yeah, you need to learn your history, etc., etc. And I think there is a part of me that you do need to learn your history, but then some people get caught up in history and they stay there. They get stuck in history. Oh, do you know what? I know so much. I know so much. Okay, cool. So what about the future then? What happens when the world's moving forward? Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's on all of us to learn. I think older people, we have to learn to listen to younger people. We have to learn to embrace them more. We have to learn to not guide them through fear or through aggression or through, like, do what I say, not what I do. I think we need to guide them through love and also through understanding that they're in a world that we're no longer in. And I had to explain this to my brethren the other day, to some of my friends, speaking about young people who care about the internet, for example, or who have a relationship with the internet that when you're older you don't understand. The internet to some young people is a complete part of their growth. So the same way how when we was growing up, something that was part of our growth was, it might have been your local youth club. You might have cared what the people at the local youth club thought about you. So you wouldn't go there with holes in your shoes, for example. Or it might be school. I'm not going to wear them shoes to school because they got a hole in them and I care about people looking at my holy shoes. So now young people, they have the internet and that is their forum. That's their community. That's the world that they're living in. That's what they're embracing. And to some degree it is annoying because on the internet there's so much exposure to anything. But at the same time, it's also, we have to understand they don't want to wear them holy shoes in front of everybody. They don't want that embarrassment in front of everybody. They don't want, and some people will say, oh, well, you should teach your kids to be stronger and they shouldn't care about what the internet thinks. And I get it. I do get it. But all of us, every human at some point has not wanted to face embarrassment through whatever reason. And I'm sure if you had to wear certain stuff to school, your parents would have said to you, don't care about what your friends say. And you would have understood, nah, man, but I don't want to be embarrassed. So now just understand that there's been a transfer of that to someone else, to a younger person who's younger than you, and they're going through the exact same situation that you did. It's just with a different forum or a different community per se. You know what I mean? So a level of understanding with these kids and a level of understanding with the kids, understanding the elders and being able to explain to them, do you know what? This means a lot to me in this way. This means a lot to me in that way is important. Do you know what I'm saying? I think as a people, if we don't understand each other and we don't have these conversations, then there's always going to be a barrier. And with that barrier comes less progression, less growth, You know what I'm saying? We see less things. One of my friends always used to say to me, when older people tell him stuff, he listens to what they say purely because a lot of the time what they're telling you is something they wish they knew when they was your age, because they was able to implement it then. The same way how, like, you might make a lot of money and keep it away from your parents. You might not tell your mum or your dad, you know what, I make a lot of money, because you might be doing something you're not meant to be doing, or something that they would be frowning upon, right? But by telling your parents, do you know what, I make this money, they might be able to tell you how to save it, or how to spend it, or how to use it, or how to make it work for you in ways that you haven't thought of. So you're ahead of the curve. Do you know what I'm saying? A lot of the time we think parents don't understand us, or older people don't understand us. You know what I mean? Another thing I know is that young people, they never forget. They never forget. They always remember. You know what I mean? When Tupac says, some buck that I roughed up way back, talking about some young buck that I roughed up way back, it's true. Because you forget about that. You forget about the young buck you roughed up way back, who's now an old buck, or he's a big buck. Do you know what I'm saying? And he remembers what you done. The same way how they remember how you mistreated them, they remember how you showed them love. You know what I'm saying? When I deal with any of my little brothers, I try to deal with them with love first. I'm older than you, so I understand. Sometimes they might even get mad. They might say stuff that it's like, if you was my age, I immediately would action that. I immediately would have a problem with that. But sometimes you have to understand where you're at and where they're at and talk to them. Some of my brothers, if you're younger than me, you can't just argue with me and we're going to fight or we're going to have beef. No. You're going to listen. I'm going to chat to you. There comes a point where we're both going to be men, or I'm going to be a man, even with little sisters. I'm going to be an adult, you're going to be a child, or whatever it is. But a lot of the time, you have to have understanding about people being younger than you, and understand you've been there, and understand that where they're at, you can foresee it, or you have an understanding of where they're at and what they're going through. Do you know what I mean? And then what I noticed is as well is, like, when you connect with these people, these younger people, it helps them, and also it helps you, because now you have a connection. It's easier to talk to them. It's easier to get progression out of them. It's easier to make them do the things that they need to do. It's easier to make them work. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I just wanted to have a small conversation on youngers and olders, little brothers and little sisters. And I'm sure that these conversations can be furthered and taken further. And there's loads of things that people want to say. Don't forget, man, you can leave it in the comments. You can message me, DM me, and we can continue this conversation. But overall, I think that as older brothers and older sisters, we need to lead our younger brothers and younger sisters, and we need to lead them, but also listen to them, because there is a world that they're living in, as well as there is a world that we're living in. I remember when I was younger, grime, I used to listen to grime, and to a lot of older people, grime sounded like nonsense, sounded like noise. It sounded like, oh, that's rubbish. And now I hear some of these other genres, and I'm like, bruv, this is terrible. Like, I literally think, oh, this is terrible. But what I try to do now is I try to embrace the musical elements that I can understand, because I get it. I'm not going to understand everything. The trends ain't for me. The trends ain't for me. They're for little kids. They're for in your era. It's not for me. It's for you. So it's not for me to embrace it fully and start acting like a kid, but it's for me to understand it and respect it from my own perspective, and allow you to be creative and allow you to create what makes you feel a certain way. You feel me? And that's what I think. I can't remember if it's my cousin that says this to me, but he says, I think it is him. He says that he wishes that his dad created the situations for him to kind of explore the things he was good at. Do you know what I mean? I feel like with our parents, growing up in a certain household, you can be good at something, but if it doesn't equal to money, or if it doesn't equal to career, or they can't foresee where that's going, then they're going to shut it down and push you to do something else. You could have been good at playing computers. I said this to my auntie the other day, that my little brother's good at playing computer. And it's funny because she said to me, well, you know, you should try and send him to Nintendo and let him go and do a apprenticeship with Nintendo and let him learn. And because we're in a time now where that can be a career, that can be, you can be something from playing computer. When we was younger, it just seemed like it was a waste of time. But really, even then, we could have done these things. The game was always seen as, we're gonna punish you by taking the game away, or we're gonna give you a gift by giving you a game. Whereas these things could have been, we could have had coders. We could have had coders that are running the game now. You know what I'm saying? And the world is moving into that space. So even with some of the people that may watch the 6 a.m. Club, if you got kids, understand that. Understand the world isn't all about labor. Although I have seen a few things, you know, to do with AI where they're saying that the world is doing a reversal. There was a time when people who were laborers would say to academics, you know, you guys get paid so much and we get paid so little, and we're not needed to some degree because you guys are creating machines and stuff that are cancelling out our jobs. And the academics said, well, you know what, you got to get smarter, right? But now what's happened is AI's come along and AI is cancelling out all the academics. We are losing need for accountants. We're losing need for solicitors and lawyers because we have ChatGPT or whatever. We're losing the need for philosophers because we can go on the internet and understand these things and get them drip fed to us. Stuff that you don't know about, you can become an expert in a month because all the information's there. All the information's right in front of you. So a lot of the people who are academics and who had all the knowledge, now they're looking at the laborers and saying, all our jobs are being taken. You guys are still building. There's still, we still need someone to mix that cement. We still need someone to carry the cement bags. We still need someone to dig up that train track and lay another train track down. You know what I'm saying? We still need someone to build the houses brick by brick. Do you know, to some degree? You know what I mean? So the world is changing. So understand that and understand where you're at, and understand that you have children who are growing up in an era that is different to yours, and to understand their era is important to you because it will make your life easier, but two, I think it will allow you to steer your children in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, the superstars and the flyboys and the shotters and the roadmen, they were the guys that a lot of people looked up to because they had things that we aspired to have. We aspired to have nice cars or jewelry or things that we're seeing in rap videos. Now, everybody has these things. There's a YouTuber who's making more money than all the shotters put together. I promise you, whichever shotter you know. Do you know what I'm saying? So we don't need to be roadmen and rude boys and gangsters anymore. We don't. We can actually be, there's way more to life that we can be. Do you know what I mean? And I still understand that we're still going to have those. But the plan is to, even those that we do have, we show them love and we embrace them in a way that we can steer them to another direction and make them better. Do you know what I mean? I think that a problem that we often get that we used to have in society is with kids. You have kids who their parents will say to them, work hard and get a job. Work hard and get a job. But I think they will look at their parents and subliminally see, but you work hard and you got a job, and I can't have a PlayStation 5 or I can't have a PlayStation 4. But I tell you who does have a PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation 4, the shotter. The guy who I see outside on the road. The guy who's got the chain. The guy who's right in front of me. So why am I listening to you? The life that you're living is not a life I want to live. So why am I listening to you? Do you know what I mean? And it's sad to say that, but I think subliminally that's what happens. And that's why a lot of us will work and move towards things that seem like it's accessible to us. Now the world is changed. Everything is accessible. If you want to sell trainers, you can get trainers and sell trainers, bro. If you want to sell rubber bands, you can go on Alibaba and find some rubber bands and be the rubber band king. Do you understand? So I hope everybody's taking that information in, man, and understand you can do anything. So listen, big up the man them, big up the gal them. That's been the 6 a.m. Club again. And today's conversation was just about, you know, olders and youngers and overall the era that we're in and the place that we're in as a people. we now have to learn to understand each other. You know what I'm saying? People hate roadmen, but love rappers. But a lot of the rappers are rapping about being roadmen. People hate what some of these kids represent until someone's rapping about it and make a song about it. But you hate what they represent. Do you know what I'm saying? This thing isn't about outcasting people and bringing other people closer. This thing is about everybody being closer, and you bring your people closer to you. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I could be wrong. Someone's going to say, oh, you chat shit. I don't care. It's just what I think, and it's the world that I live in. So, big up the man them, big up the gal them. While going for the weirdos, I just can't understand them. 6 a.m. Club to the world and back. And I just need you to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you haven't already, make sure you do it, man. Big up the man them.